Ignition. All right. And we live. Oh man, it just popped up on me. What? Come on now, StreamYard. Y'all can't sneak up on me like that. All right. Another edition of Steady Dropping Dimes coming at you. And it is a jam-packed episode with so much to talk about. NFL draft tomorrow. The spring game was last week. You got Michigan basketball and Dusty May. I think old Dusty is killing the game. I don't know if everybody agree with me, but I think old Dusty is killing the game right now. Coming in here and flipping this roster. And, when I say flip the roster, it's funny how it works. You bring in portal guys. People wonder why are so many guys entering the portal? Why aren't any guys staying? Man, you bring in new guys. The guys that are there, they start looking around saying, hey, maybe I need to go figure out what's up elsewhere. So we'll get into all of that on this edition of Steady Dropping Dimes with my guys. Let's start with Daniel Horton. Danny Horton. His name came up today. We were talking about great point guards with Mike Boynton. If you missed the one-on-one with Mike Boynton, be sure to check it out. You learn a lot about why Dusty identified him as a must-have assistant on his staff. We got into talking about great point guards. Great point guards, the greatest point guards of all time. And when we got to talking about Isaiah Thomas versus John Stockton, he said it ain't even close. It ain't even close. That almost made up for him saying that Jay-Z had a better debut album than Nas. I mean, we was cool until he said that. Everything else in the interview was great, though. So be sure to check. And we shouted you out, Daniel. Daniel Horton, a Michigan point guard. Great. How are you this evening?
Doing good, doing good. How about yourself?
Doing all right. So we got to help your brother. We got to help your brother, Devin. I won't do him like these analysts be doing these other guys, because Devin is a brilliant analyst. Everybody makes mistakes. I won't call you Stephen A. because
made a mistake?
Everybody makes mistakes.
Who
right?
made a mistake?
You remember when Stephen A. said, "Yeah, Dwayne Haskins. I just think he just runs the way. All he does is run the football." You know what that's like? That's like saying the Lakers they might even sweep the Nuggets. Like what?
I never said that. I never said that. You just
didn't
made
say
it
that
up.
you didn't say that about last year. You said
I
it
didn't
very
say-
easily could have went the other way.
Well, how are you talking about last year and I'm talking about this
The
year?
other way. They
This
swept
year.
them, Devin. Daniel, am I making this?
Let me know when you're done, Sam.
Did the man not say?
Let me know when you're done,
very
Sam.
easily been a sweep the other way. I'm pretty
Let me
sure
know when you're done, Sam.
I'm pretty sure you
done,
said that.
Sam. Let's talk about game one real quick. The dude I said has to be big gave me nothing. And they still had a 12-point lead at one point. I don't want to hear it. And then let's go to the next game. A game-winning, buzzer-beating shot at the end. You telling me that this unbeatable, undeniable Morris Brown. You talking about the Denver Nuggets are just this team down 12 and then down 20 at one point in this game, and a last second shot win, and you acting like the Lakers don't got a chance. Keep the same energy.
Hey, DG, if I spotted you 12 and 20 and came back to beat you both times, you're not better than me.
So Daniel, you're going to play the game of this professional basketball team that has an aspiration to go win a championship. Gave them 12, like they just gave it. Like, hey, here's 20 and 12, and we just come back. Come on, man.
No, but that's not the game I'm playing. What I'm saying is the Lakers played the best that they could play to start the first game, and then the first 2.5, 3 quarters of game two, and still lost. They played the best that they could possibly play,
guys. Let's just not talk about it until the series is over. Let's just not, because you guys are delusional, acting like, oh yeah, the Nuggets just so good. All right, bro.
All right. I shouldn't have done that.
They did what they were supposed to do. They won at home.
I shouldn't have done that.
High altitude. We ain't gonna talk about that. High altitude.
I should have started off saying, Steady Dropping Dimes is brought to you by our friends at Destination Ann Arbor. For all of the things that you want to do, places you want to see, establishments that you want to maybe dine at, your one-stop shop for all of your needs and desires in Washtenaw County is Destination Ann Arbor. Places to go, places to stay, places to eat, events coming to town. We're going to be highlighting some events coming to town throughout the summer. Washtenaw County is a great place to be. It's also a great place to be outdoors. Be outside. This is the time, not just a lot of great golf courses, a lot of great parks and trails. And so I got my GoPro.
He lying. He ain't on no trails. He always lying. He been talking about these trails for 2 months, 3-4 months, and ain't seen one video
I'm
clip.
supposed to ride on the trail when the weather is still bad. I mean, come on, man.
You act like you was committed to the trail. I don't want to hear it.
I'm gonna get on the
It's been
trail.
some nice days. Somebody that really get on them trails, them nice days, they would have jumped on them trails.
All right, man. All right. So listen, I saw the news. People are talking about DJ Waller entering the portal. I have not been able to dive into that topic as of yet. We'll be doing that over on the MichiganInsider.com. What we can talk about, though, is going back to the spring game and really want to focus on that quarterback. And I'm going to use the word battle, DG. I'm going to use the word battle. You know, it's interesting. Albor just went to practice a couple weeks ago after you went. And he came out, he said, listen, look, the best thrower from the pocket is Davis Warren. He said, I mean, just throwing the football. And he didn't say arm talent. For some reason, arm talent that's used in the phrase is abhorrent to him. But he said, you know, really good arm and the ball comes off. Man, that dude just pretty throwing the football from the pocket. But he said, you know what? This might be a situation where the pocket is not pristine. It's not, and it wasn't always pristine last year. And so he said it might even be more treacherous from time to time. So you might need a guy who can compensate for that with his ability to extend plays and elude the rush and still make plays, right? So he was kind of skewing Alex Orji. We get in the game, DG. First series, Alex Orji, he comes out on a naked slide and he says, rather than I could throw this slide, I could run 18 yards for a touchdown, right? And he finishes 13 for 18, but he had some big misses in there. I mean, some misses that weren't close. Whereas Davis Warren, then he gets in there, he goes 6 for 9 for 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, looks really crisp, even with pressure in his face. Now you can't take that and say Davis Warren's the guy like a lot of fans are, but you can't. What I take it to say is this is maybe more of a battle than a lot of people anticipated it being heading into the spring.
Yeah, I mean, I think. If you watch Droppin Dimes after practice, I talked about Alex Orji. I'm like, man, sometimes it's like that boy, and then other time it's like a little bit more to be desired there. You know what I mean? And so I think it's just you kind of have to, because the game breaking ability, man. I'm telling you, the game breaking ability is what for a coach, like that can help the team. All right, you're gonna miss a few throws here. Let's try to gear a plan toward. Hey, let's stay away from throws you don't really like, right? Let's try to stay away from throws you don't really like. And let's not act like he's the only quarterback who has some throws that he doesn't really like. Absolutely. We'll go back to JJ in the TCU game, right? They call a play that he doesn't like to throw, and he throws a pick 6, right? So and that's going to be a first rounder, right? A top 5, top 6 pick or whatever it's going to be. So do you with the threat of such a dynamic player with his arm and with his legs, are you fine with a few misses here or there? And I'm talking about you might miss a couple layups, right? You might smoke a couple layups off the glass and not hit them when they're easy, but also he's going to have a spectacular and one at some point. You know what I mean? So, and like you said, when the pocket isn't pristine, he gives you the best chance to make something out of nothing. Right now, he's going to have to temper that ability as well to make sure you don't go and make a bad play worse because you are the superhero. You are this physically gifted athlete. That's another thing that he's going to have to learn on the fly, and it's so hard because he's not getting tackled, right? I sorely wish they would have made him live, all of them, right? Because this is something you just don't know. You don't want to wait until the bullets start flying for real to see, and for him to try to learn on the fly, right? And I think it's kind of doing him a little bit of a disservice because he doesn't know exactly what he is as a pocket passer. He doesn't know what he is as a runner creator in the pocket, outside the pocket. And it would have been nice for him to get a chance to play that. Now you can't now because camp is coming. You get too close to the season. If he's your guy, he gets hurt in practice. That's ridiculous. But I wish they would have had a chance to be live a little bit more. And I'm just tell you a quick story. That's how Denard beat me out. Because when you're not live and you know, these defenders running, tagging off, pretending like they got you, all that garbage. But when you live, they couldn't touch him. They couldn't see him. And I'm just like, he getting 65-yard touchdowns every practice, 3 times a practice. They can't do nothing with him, right? And you can still kind of protect him with the whistle, you know, get downfield and when he gets in odd situations. But I wish they would have had a chance to be live a little bit so he can know who he is and they can know what he is. But gotta wait till the bullets start flying, I guess. I mean, and that's tough. And for Davis Warren, the same thing I saw in practice, like efficient, putting the ball where it needs to go, but does he have the dynamic athletic ability that will help, like you said, if that pocket is murky and not conducive to a successful quarterback that just isn't a mover?
Yeah, man. So he was 13 for 18.
Good.
13 for 18.
It's really good.
I feel like his misses are being emphasized too much in the context of his overall performance. Because you saw this man, and he should have had 2 touchdowns. He got robbed.
Yeah, the second one he got robbed for sure.
Yeah, come on, man. It's just, come on, Sharon. I was like, come on, bro.
It should be an episode of come on, man. Come on, man.
Right, like, there's no way in the world. And he came into, mind you, he had been nursing a hamstring. I think it was a hamstring.
Yeah, he hurt on that play too.
Yeah, and he kind of aggravated because I know they were pulling him out of some practices just to preserve it. And so he's nursing that. He's still running away from dudes in the game. And so he can erase some things. Now, I'm going to say something that is not meant to be offensive. All right, but I'm using it to make a point. I'm not taking a shot at anybody. But it's to put in perspective how, even with some inefficiencies, some things that you got to brush up and improve, how they still have enough to coach around, to play around, and win with those deficiencies. I said on my website, they won a Big Ten championship with Cade McNamara. See, you laughing like I'm not trying to slight the dude. But
what are you doing, man?
That's not a slight. So
Yes,
here's what I mean.
No, that's clear.
You can't compare this scenario to JJ. Because JJ, I think, is the best quarterback in this draft. We're gonna talk about that coming up. The year before JJ takes over, I don't want to get into the debate. You think JJ should have been a quarterback from day one. I understand why they went with Cade McNamara. He was safe. But it was tough. It was tough early in the season. It was tough, that Washington game, when they couldn't call a pass.
40 passing yards.
Yeah, it was tough, that Rutgers game when they couldn't call a pass in the second half. It was tough at halftime of that Wisconsin game when it's like, man, it's 3 touchdowns on the field. It was tough, but they won all those games. They won all of those games.
Convincingly, for the most part.
Because it was true complementary football. They ran the football well. And before you say, different circumstances, look at this line and that line. When that line started running, it was not, they were like, oh, this is a great offensive line. Right? Michigan didn't have that Joe Moore status at that time. People were questioning, why do you have Sharon Moore being an offensive line coach? And, oh, yeah, you're going to run the ball. You're going to be physical now. I mean, they were getting mocked for saying that they could do that. And they figured out a way to still be successful, even when they couldn't be so quarterback dependent. So that's the way to put it. He was an excellent game manager. That is not a pejorative. How do you win in a game managing scenario? And they figured it out. Hey, man, we got a great offense. We're going to develop this great offensive line. We're going to be physical. We're going to play great defense. As a play caller, I am going to start to have a better understanding of what he can do. He's not going to attack down the middle of the field against zone. It's not happening. He likes crossers, though. Let's give him a heavier dose of some shallow crosses, right? Let's not beat him down every time he throws a check down when there's an open play down the field. we can still be successful,
Yeah.
even with these limitations. And so I say all of that to say, if you can win with that, why wouldn't you have confidence that they got enough talent and coaching experience? Sharon was around for that. You can't tell me, Devin and Daniel, that he wasn't thinking about that Washington game when the Penn State game rolled around this year. Circumstances were different. I talk about this on the Big Ten Network. They couldn't throw against Washington because the quarterback couldn't complete a pass. They couldn't throw against Penn State because they couldn't block them dudes.
And the quarterback was hurt.
And the quarterback, he got hurt in that game. But it's like, man, we got to figure out a way how to be successful, and they figured out a way. So I think whether it's Orji or Davis Warren, this is why I'm not as concerned about things. I think they saw enough from Alex Orji in the spring to feel like, man, yes, he has more work to do in terms of the accuracy of his passes. But, man, he's freaky when he's running that football. And he's improved enough throwing to feel like, okay, we have something there. And then Davis Warren, the talk had been, can he be accurate when he's pressured? One game doesn't just make that definitive statement. But I was encouraged by 4 of those 6 passes, Devin, he hit him with pressure in his face. That's it.
Yeah, he was definitely impressive. But like you said, it's one game and one fake game, right? It's one game where, 1, you're not going to get hit, and 2, you're not going against all starters, right? And so you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt, but it is encouraging to see him be able to do it, because those are the question marks. And we got a comment from Tim Lenicki. He said, Samaj Morgan said Davis Warren has run 22 miles per hour, and I'm assuming this man can scrabble. And I want everybody to know there's a totally different thing when running straight for a decent amount of time and people coming at you and having the ability to have quick twitch muscles and move and create space and different things like that. And so you can run straight all you want. There are no straight lines in the pocket when people are chasing you. You know what I mean? So like that, let's just dispel that right now. The more, even if Alex Orji had never won 22 miles per hour, we know for a fact that he's a much better scrambler, mover in the pocket than Davis Warren. But I think you nailed it, Sam. And the one thing for me, I don't know Alex Orji personally, and I actually never even heard his voice before, honestly. However, he seems like a dude that is willing to put in the work.
Absolutely, 100%.
He seems to me, he strikes me as a person who, firstly, takes it personal when he's slighted, right? Which I'm sure he has been in his life a number of times moving to this point. And he strikes me as a person who he kind of gets up for the challenge of becoming better, right? The one thing for me is it's up to the coaching staff, specifically his quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, to make sure he gives him the requisite tools to become what he wants so desperately to become. And I think that he has the tools to become. Because I don't think he's the guy that's going to shy away from work. Now, I've seen a situation before on many occasions of a guy who wants to work and is a worker but doesn't know what to work, right? And so you're working and he's working, but it's not work strategically geared toward being successful in the areas that he needs to be successful in, right? And so I think that that's up to the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach to make sure that this kid that is comfortable with work has the correct work so that he can become everything that he can. And that means the team will become everything they're capable of becoming.
You said seems like he'll put him. No, there's no question. The dude he's a grinder. That's by all accounts. Everyone you talk to in the program say this dude is one of the hardest workers on the team, takes getting better at his craft seriously. That's one of the things that Kirk Campbell has talked a lot about is, he had some, to your point that you've been saying and that Borg just said, his footwork. He eludes the pressure. He finds the open man in the middle of the field, right? He found the right guy, And Borges was over there getting excited. I'm like, man, damn. His wife was sitting next to him. I was like, man, do I need to move? I was like, he was getting excited over there. And then
Borges loves somebody that can create. Any coordinator do, right? Every coordinator loves a person that can create because you aren't always going to call the perfect play, right? And that's why it's so scary to have a guy like Davis Warren as the quarterback. The perfect play, especially you got a first-year play caller, right? The perfect play is not always going to be called. You need, in basketball and football and different sports, you call them erasers. You need a guy that can erase a mistake. You need a guy that can erase a bad block. You need a guy that can erase a bad call in a bad situation against a bad look. You know what I mean? And that's what Alex Orji is. Like I said, maybe you miss a few layups here or there. Maybe. And I hope that we don't get in the – now, let me preface this by saying the best quarterback should play, right? If it's Alex Orji, if it's Davis Warren, whoever it is, Denigal, I hope we don't get in a situation like Alabama where you let maybe a few missed layups here or there make you think this isn't your guy. Mm-hmm. And then you almost blow your opportunity to get to where they got to at the end of the year by taking him out, a guy who the team respects, Alex Orji, team respects, a guy who works hard, Alex Orji, works hard. You move him out for a guy, whoever they did. I don't even remember who they put in, Alabama did. And you almost lose your team.
Yeah, they brought the transfer from Notre Dame who couldn't play at Notre Dame.
And
then quit football and went to play lacrosse. Come on, man.
You almost lose your team because of that type of thing, because a guy maybe misses a few layups here or there, right? It's more, quarterback is more than just throwing passes and making sure you hit all the layups. Now, when you start to talk about getting drafted and all that, you got to hit your layups and whatever. But to win college football games, it's more about how does the rest of the team look at this man? Because I'm telling you, on defense, they need to look over there and say, I believe in him. He may not be perfect, but I believe in him. And it seems like that's what the entire team feels with Alex Orji. And not to say that they don't feel that about Davis Warren, but I know for a fact they feel that with Alex Orji.
Yeah, I sense that too. And I don't sense that the players or coaches in the program come out of the spring or the spring game saying, oh, he's not the guy. I think the scale, I think it's a tight battle. I think if they were to start a game today, I think it would be Alex Orji. Mm-hmm. All right. But, the battle rages on because, yes, they have respect for Alex Orji. You got to have I know they have tremendous respect for Davis Warren. Everything that he's overcome, to come back from leukemia, to keep grinding it out, and to sharpen his knife to the point where he's actually in the mix. He's actually in the mix, like legit in the mix. And you talk about respect. He's not in there trying to do everything he can to make sure that dude over there isn't successful. To doing everything, he's trying to shine himself, but he's trying to make everyone else shine too. And this is a great segue because Alex Orji. So you said you never heard his voice. People finally got a chance to hear him speak. He was outstanding in the press conference after the spring game, talking about, hey, feel like I grew a lot, accomplished a lot, really confident in where I am. But the whole room has gotten better, and it's a battle. Everyone wants to play, but we're trying to make each other better because that makes Michigan better. And he made a comment. He said, we're taking our cues from Davis Warren. And he said, Davis said the quarterback room and the relationships in it are so much better than they were when I first got here. Said it's not even close. It's not even close.
When did he first get there?
4 years. 4 years ago.
Interesting.
He said it's not even close. And Orji went.
Sam, hold on. I don't want to move past this without figuring out why was the quarterback room in the state that it was. Do you think? I don't. Who was the leader of that room? I can't remember. You said how many years ago?
So they didn't say.
I'm asking. I need to know.
They didn't say any names, man. All right.
But 4 years ago, who was the guy? Who was the leader?
Cade was the guy.
Oh, Joe Milton Cade.
Yeah. And so, listen, he was saying, so he goes out there and throws those 2 touchdown passes. Talking about Alex was talking about
one was super nice and the other one was more the receiver, but still nice.
Yeah, he said, man, I'm rooting for those plays to be completed because him being better means us being better as a team.
Nice.
At the end of the day, it's about Michigan. He said we wear that Michigan on our back like it's our name. Like that means something. So we want Michigan to do. He was on the blue team, I was on the maize team, whichever it was. He said, but I want that dude to do well because it means we as a team are doing well. And we as a quarterback room. He said, man, we go out to eat together. He said, man, if I'm stuck somewhere, I'm calling Jayden Daniels. If I need some help with technique, Davis is helping me with it. He's like the guru. He knows the offense. He said, man, we are super tight knit. And so that's why, get to a question and experience that you had. I'm not saying it's going to be this way, Devin, but Kirk Campbell didn't dismiss the possibility of both guys getting some run in the fall. Not to say that he's going to have a split QB system, but, let's not forget that part of the success in 21 was that they played two quarterbacks. Now, he said that's not the plan. They're looking for one quarterback, but if it looks like two can help them, he said we might play two.
Yeah, I didn't hear the interview, but based off of what you just described from Orji, that's high EQ, right? Emotional intelligence, right? Because I'm just telling you, man, people in this situation where you've worked so hard, you've been there for however long, and now the spot's open, right? It's cutthroat in these rooms, man. It's cutthroat in these rooms. It's cutthroat in these teams because these kids have dreams that they've dreamt forever, and nobody wants their dream to go away, right? They want to live that dream so desperately, and in the society that we live in, when you want something so bad, right, you step on whoever you got to step on to get there. So a lot of people do, right? Not that guy, Daniel, not that guy, Sam, not that guy, and obviously Orji, not that guy, but that's the norm, right? That's what you and when it happens, I'm not surprised and I almost expect it. And for him to be that emotionally intelligent to give a response like that to whatever the question was, and I'm sure it was genuine, right? And I harken back to with me and Denard. I initially was not that guy. Denard, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. This is Droppin Dimes.
Oh, so you were like Cade. You were like Cade, huh?
No, first of all, I wasn't the guy, so I couldn't be like Cade. I couldn't be hating on people who ain't even got the spot. But I was not trying. I didn't desperately want initially, especially in that first spring, Denard to do well. I didn't want that. That wasn't like a thing I was looking for. Like I wasn't getting ready to go to practice every day like, oh man, I can't wait for Denard to light it up today. Right? I didn't go into the spring game thinking, man, if Denard does well, we all gonna do well. I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking I need to do my best. If he stumbles along the way, I'm not mad at that. Right? Meanwhile, he, on the other hand, much higher emotional intelligence at the time, was making sure that I was the best I could be, right? Was actively rooting for me to do as well as I was too young to understand it. But if I do well, it forces him to get better and do well. So it's a win-win for him, right? If I perform well, he has to perform well if he desperately wants to have his dream like he says he does, right? And so for Alex Orji, it's a win-win again for him as well. High emotional intelligence and very impressive again, right? So that's a long laundry list of impressive quarterbackial traits, and it's kind of a joy to see.
Listen, man,
and he played high school football in DFW, so
here he goes.
He's been tested. He's been tested.
Hey, man.
Actually, that's on the other column. That's a strike against him.
Nah, he's been tested.
Listen, I came out of the spring, I'm feeling better about the quarterback situation. I wasn't feeling terrible about it to begin with, but I'm like, man, I think they have the ingredients for success there. I'm much more mindful of what are the developments on the offensive line going to look like. They, you couldn't get a real read because the line combinations are all mixed up. You had injuries and that kind of thing. We know who four of the guys are going to be. There's a battle at the other tackle spot between Gentry and Percy. I think they're going to look in the portal for depth, not just depth, but another contender for a starting spot to see how that really goes. And if that gels, if that becomes the focal point offensively because you got a dog by man. Did Donovan look? Donovan looked like he picked up where he left off. So proud of that dude. You talk about a dude, emotional maturity through the roof. Play running back maturity through the roof. That dude, Donovan's in the zone. His focus is on a level that we haven't seen before, and we should expect that for a guy who's actually had some on-field adversity, didn't go quite like he wanted to go, had to work for it, grind for it to get back to what he went. And look what he did with limited opportunities in the national championship game. He's ready. Now you flip over to the defensive side, that's going to help him. There was some competition in their different spots, and the one that people keep bringing up in here is DJ Waller. Listen, that came as a surprise. Looking into it, going to get into it over on the MichiganInsider.com. My phone's ringing. I'm getting texts. People are in the chat. We will dig into what's up with DJ Waller. Here's what I know. Suge had a great spring. That was a real battle. I don't know if that's the reason he's in the portal. Because Jair Hill, he didn't play a ton last year. He was mostly special teams, whereas DJ Waller got a lot of the run in one of the reserve roles during the year. They get in the spring, man, and it was, you talk about two dude, man. And did you see Jair in the game with the breakup of the jump ball down the sideline? Yes, but both of those guys were gonna play and play a lot, and so I don't know all of the circumstances that have led to what DJ Waller's thought process is. We'll get into it over on the MichiganInsider.com. I want to use this as an opportunity to get on JJ though, because we draft this tomorrow. Super excited for this dude, and as I got a chance to spend some, he was back in town, wasn't able to catch up with him, was able to catch up with his family, and I'm reminded of, you use the phrase emotional maturity, how much of a role that he as an individual played in the culture of this program cannot be overstated. Should not be overstated. We talk all about, he was great leader on the field, sophomore and junior year, terrific player. He holds the moniker as the best quarterback to ever do it at Michigan. He won the national championship. But what he did as a freshman, from a leadership perspective, is one of the biggest things that he could have done.
He could have tore the program down.
He could have tore this program down. And I'm going to bring back up a point we brought up a few weeks ago and elaborate, because there was the Fox interview where they were doing the piece on Cade, and they were talking about, hey, JJ reached out before he got there, and he wanted to learn from Cade, and Cade gave him the cold shoulder. This was in the fluff piece on Cade. I was like, wow, they were talking to somebody with some inside sources. But they made it sound like that stopped when he got to Michigan. It didn't. It didn't stop.
Got worse.
It got worse. It was like, what I remember talking to his secretary. It's like, man, JJ he's trying to, have a relationship with this dude, won't say a word to him for like 6-7 weeks. Like, you're on the same team.
That is so weak.
Won't say a word to him for 6-7 weeks. You get in a press conference, he won't even say JJ's name. Like, if you pay attention, he would never say his name. Like the other guy, or just refer to him, wouldn't say his name. Like, you could tell it was real. Now, if it's Devin Gardner, Devin Gardner's like, it's calling him.
We're not playing them games. I'm gonna just tell you, I'm transparent. We're not playing those games. Hey, now it wouldn't get out, but it would have been some smoke in them locker rooms.
It goes a different way. When you're better than the guy that you're more talented than the guy you're competing with.
Better. You
right?
can just use the word better.
Like he was with senior leader, had a lot of teammates that really looked up and followed him, but JJ, his class really looked up to and followed him. So you have a recipe for fracture if a guy wants to pursue it, and he didn't.
Yep.
These are the stories that don't get told about a championship, how you become a champion. You don't let that divide a locker room. I give him a ton of credit. The coaching staff deserves a lot of credit too. I don't want to dismiss it as something. They were able to manage it, but JJ allowed them to manage it. And that's why when I look around all these draft analysts, one draft analyst made this observation about the pass he threw to Roman Wilson's like he got luck, he just barely he got it. The ball was tipped.
That's what football is. Everything is just barely.
And
right?
The ball was tipped.
When Ben Roethlisberger throws it to Santana, whoever it was, on the sideline against the Cardinals, he gets those feet in by that much. It's always barely. But the preparation you put in allowed you to be in those positions for it to barely happen. The guy from the Denver Nuggets barely got it over KD because he's practiced those positions. This is credit to him. This
Easy
is what
work.
sport is. How can analysts point to something, if you've ever played the game, and say, oh, he only barely? What are you talking about? That's what football is. They call it the game of inches for a reason. Yep. The point that he should have been making is that ball got tipped and still got there with a perfect spiral.
He didn't even know it got tipped. That's like I killed.
Oh, he didn't. See, why are we even talking to guys like that? Why are we even
right? And so
and that ain't that
Booger McFarland been talking crazy.
That ain't Michigan versus Indiana. That's the Rose Bowl. Everybody's covering it. So it ain't like you ain't watched it. You should have been locked in, and you ain't even know the ball got tipped.
Right, and so that's
why Booger been talking crazy about JJ for 2 weeks now. Yeah, man, I haven't seen enough of him.
What I'm getting at is they're trying to find reasons. They're trying to find things wrong. And I'm like, man, I ain't saying he's the perfect quarterback. But to me, I mean, they're so driven by stats. What did he do? What were his stats when called upon?
When he meant the most?
When they needed him, right? And
it's like they're forgetting that he drove them down against Alabama with passes. Did they forget? Like, to go win the game, he threw the ball. There was a fourth down in there. He made all the plays to go win the game in the Rose Bowl in the biggest game of his life. Did you not see that part? Against and don't forget, against Alabama. We don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Bama and the Tide. Against Alabama and Nick Saban, he down to win the game. And not to win the game, but put it in overtime. And then, obviously, Blake Corum finished
it. And so, to me, man, winning is a stat. Why doesn't that count? Why they didn't trust him enough to...
all they do is they just keep pointing back to the Penn State game.
Right.
It's like they're just not going to watch no other games.
Right. And that's
Penn State game.
See, that is...
But if they watch Monday Morning Quarterback, they see the tackles were getting beat in 2 seconds. Not even. I've never seen people get beat so fast.
If you're a coach, you should watch that game and say, that's who I want. That's who I want. Yeah. We in here. We can't block these dudes. This is a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback who don't have the stats these other dudes have, who has every bit of confidence in his ability. The head coach ain't here. There's a lot of dudes that said, no, the hell, we not about to run it 32 times in a row.
No, it's not happening. And one of them
didn't do that. That guy didn't do that. Or the next week, when he cannot put weight on this plant leg. He gets on the phone with his dad. I got to get MRI. Let me tell you something. I got to get an MRI, but I'm playing. He's in the locker room at halftime with tears in his eyes. I'm playing. Then he's missing reads because he's in so much pain. But I'm playing. That's the guy you want. That's the best quarterback.
But Sam, you're doing all this explaining. The scouts, the guys that matter know that. That's why he's flying up the boards. And everybody's so confused. How is this happening? How is this happening? It's because they have the inside information like that. When you're about to invest the kind of money they're about to invest in somebody, you figure it out. You find out about this person on every level. You find out who he is, what was this, why was that? And they have done their homework. And that's why they're thinking like, oh, okay, maybe he don't have all the stats and the gaudy. I mean, he do got a lot of cool highlight plays, but maybe don't have all the stats. But everything we want in a quarterback He has it. Every single thing. And some of the things that you can't quite measure, we can measure with him because he was in a situation like Penn State where he's in a Heisman race and has the emotional intelligence to say, hey, we're just going to run the ball. I'm a winner. This is about winning the football game. We can't block him, whatever the case may be. We're going to do it. The mental and physical toughness to not be able to put weight on his plant leg, crying at halftime, come back out, clear those tears out here, and let's get it popping, right? Those things just hard to measure. But with this guy, you can measure those things, man. And I just want to finish off by saying I've never been so right about something in my life. I ain't never been so right about something. I can't wait for tomorrow. I can't wait for tomorrow because I'm finally going to be vindicated. I ain't never been so right. You hear me? I ain't never been so right. Let me reiterate, never been so right about something in my life. And this is from 4 years ago. Lordy.
Hey, man. Hey, that make up for this bad call you made on this Lakers series. This Lakers Nuggets series.
There are still for 5 more games.
And hey, man. Hey, it's done. It's over. You realize that, right? That series is over.
Sam, can we take a screenshot of your face right now and how happy he is with your little rosy cheeks and all that? So when the Lakers come back and win this series, I want to just Ben, can we get a screenshot? And I just want to plaster that rosy cheeks face smiling on the screen. That's what I want.
So listen, JJ, I think if he go, as much as I hate to say it, and I was telling his mom and dad this, it was, man, they was like, man, we gonna miss you. I was like, man, I'll come to a Vikings game. I'm not coming to a Vikings game against the Lions. I'm not gonna do that.
You gotta be the one to go to.
Why? I can't, man. Then I have to root against the dude at that point.
You can root for JJ to play well and lose by 20.
Man, Ben, I'm sending you a picture of my people here real quick so you can put it up on the screen. And you just talk about culture setters. Culture setters as a family. When it came time to have recruits on campus and the coaches couldn't run it themselves, it was the McCarthys who put on the weekend. Man, that's culture. That's culture. So the Vikings would be good for him. And he would be good for the Vikings. Now, it's not the team personally that I would want to see him play.
Where you want him to play for? Where you want him to go?
Someplace out of the division, man.
Yeah.
But for him, the Vikings that's the pick. You got arguably he is the number one receiver in football, according to almost everyone. Highest paid receiver in football now is in Detroit.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. I'm
happy for him, man. He's another one of those workers, man, who just keep his mouth closed, work extremely hard. He's the standard. And when you I did the last few preseasons the last couple of years, and when you talk to the rest of the players, it's specifically the wide receivers, it's like, man, I see him working so hard, and it forces me to work so hard. Right. I want to just walk off the field after practice and he's getting 200, 300 catches, and it forces me to also do that because I don't want to be left behind, and it forces the next person. And so now the entire team is improving all because of one guy's hard work and not a talker, right? Not a guy that's going to say a whole bunch, but when he says something, it means something. Is he the best receiver in football? Who knows? Probably not. But he deserves to be paid the way he's being paid because he is a big part, a huge part of the reason the Lions are a viable option to win the Super Bowl, a viable option to compete on. And I think from here going forward, it's going to be on a regular basis.
All right. Yeah, man. That would be an ideal place for him to go. And they love him. They were following him all around the combine. The question is, will they trade up high enough to get him?
And then he throw for 4,000 as a rookie because he got Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I think he has to go. I think they got to move up.
I'm gonna be right again.
I think they got to move up to 3 to get him. I really do.
You think that high, huh?
I do. Because I think he's better. I think most people, these inside in these pro guys, winning is a stat, and they know he has the intangibles to go along.
Whatever it is, we don't know what the it is. He got it.
Yeah, he has the natural physical talent that could really go. Look at Jim and Megan McCarthy. Man, people, man. My people. So I want to send a shout out to them. Yeah, I go hang out at a Vikings game, just not when they play the Lions. Not when they play the Lions at all. So, no, that's cool. Cool people. Super happy for the dude about to live out his dream. He's about to make some team. Like that's a dude you bet on. That's the other thing. Like, man, I'm not. All the quarterbacks went to Washington, right? They brought them all in, and I heard the Daniels camp was in their feelings because they had all the other quarterbacks there.
That's such a weird thing for his
Like,
agent
come on,
to do.
man.
I hated it.
I know you hated it, but still,
No. I'm talking about I hated what the agent did.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Okay, what's wrong with that? If you're going to be picked, you're going to be picked. You want to be This is the age. I still want to be recruited. Like, stop this garbage, man. You a grown man about to be, and I'm not going to say at Daniels because it wasn't him, but your representative. That's your representative. Right, and
if his rep said it came from Daniels too, though, you could bet it came from Daniels.
So childish on the internet with emojis and like, come on, dog. What are we doing?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
So, hey, that gives you insight to some of his character though, as a player and the people around him, right?
I don't even think that's fair. Just because I got to spend time with him at the 11. He is a solid dude, man, all the way around. I spent time for a week. And obviously, a week you don't know exactly who a guy is, but it's hard for a guy to wear a mask for a week, right? You see him for so long. He seemed like a solid dude, man. A good kid who is a worker, right? Who kind of worked on his craft. Obviously, I mean, it took him a little longer, but he definitely became what he thought he could become. He won the Heisman, and for that, because like everybody's gonna have that opinion. Like, man, he childish because they're gonna assume it came from you. But maybe it came from him. We talk about stuff, but you can't go blast him on the internet. I told you that in confidence that I was mad at them for that. You gonna put it on the internet like a kid. What are we doing?
Hey, but DG, his team, when he left Arizona State, his team wasn't it like rumors?
Those are kids being petty because they said that he gone. He went and won the Heisman.
I don't know, man.
Hey,
I don't know.
LSU players don't say nothing bad. I'm not listening to nobody that ain't winning no games and they coaches is getting fired. I'm not listening to none of those disgruntled kids.
He was a part of that.
He wasn't. He went to LSU. He got an upgrade. I'm talking about a huge upgrade. Because if he was that bad of a player, why would LSU take him? LSU ain't no scrubs.
Or if he was that good, why wasn't Arizona State good? Because I have family members that are LSU fans, right? I always say, hey man, if he was that good, Herm Edwards would still have a job, right?
That's not true at all. That's not true. Their roster is terrible.
Okay.
Although Elijah Badger, that receiver, Michigan, like, come on down.
A receiver. And guess what? He trying to get out of there too. What are we talking about? Just because you're a good player don't mean your team is going to be great.
He didn't win anything at LSU. He won the Heisman, but their team they lost 4 games last year, didn't they?
Daniel, I know you ain't say he won the Heisman like it's just like, he just won the Heisman. Come on,
man.
Come on,
the
man.
Heisman Trophy came from a team that lost 4 games, bro. What are we talking about? Like,
Daniel,
what was he?
Daniel, I ain't trying to hear that, Daniel. He won that Heisman. We ain't gonna act like the Heisman just giving out.
Team that lost 4 games. What
we ain't gonna worry about? We ain't gonna act like the Heisman is just like, hey, you get a Heisman. You get a Heisman.
We're not gonna act like all Heisman winners are equal either. So we're not gonna do that either.
He had the best season of any of the last Heisman winners in the last 6 years. He almost rushed for 1,500.
No, he did. Hey, Deshaun Watson threw for 4,000 and ran for 1,000 too.
And didn't win
and had almost 50 touchdowns.
But he didn't win the Heisman.
And didn't win the Heisman. So, like, the best player, like, just because you win the Heisman don't mean you are the best player. You were the best.
He was the best player this season. He was the best player this season. Wasn't close.
Like, it's guys that have been that had better seasons.
He was the best player this season. It wasn't close.
I just want to point out that the tone that you're taking right now, to Daniel's point, you know how ridiculous you think Daniel sound right now?
Yeah,
you realize that's how ridiculous you sound talking about the.
I don't. First of all, we gonna cut that right there. I don't sound ridiculous.
I said how ridiculous he thinks you sound.
I think you sound ridiculous.
We giving guys Heisman trophies that lost 4 games now. What are we doing?
No, we ain't acting like the Heisman just being given.
He didn't even finish 3 games. Did he finish the game against Alabama?
We not act. I don't give a dang what
that
is.
Must have just been a down year.
We not gonna poo-poo a kid who won the Heisman.
Let's just say it was a down year in college football for elite players. Let's just do that. for quarterbacks.
They talking about the best generational quarterback is in this draft. Better than Andrew Luck and everybody. What are we talking
That's
about?
one, like you said, that's one player. You just say Badger was one receiver. That's one player.
So if you say it's down year in college football, then that takes away from Michigan. Oh, they want them to spend a down year in college football.
No,
Come on now, Daniel.
I'm saying if he's considered the best player in college football and his team lost 4 games, that says something about college football as a whole, or the people making decisions about who's winning these awards. How about that? Let's do that.
No, he did you watch him play this year?
Yeah, I watched every LSU game.
Hey, so listen.
So you watched every LSU game, and you sitting here acting like
that's what I'm saying. He didn't finish the game. Okay. Was he the best quarterback on the field against Ole Miss?
Next topic.
All right, we go.
Hey man, Daniel has to get out of here, so I want to get some basketball in before he goes. We can move I Love Ann Arbor to the last segment because DG, Daniel, Ben, I just sent you a photo. My man Dusty May is killing it. Dusty May, 2 months ago, we didn't know what was going to happen. I said, listen, if they go someplace other than Juwan, if they sit and they have this checklist of things that he doesn't meet in this one-on-one meeting, and you got to move on from Juwan, you're not going to give my girl Dawn a chance. That was drink. I said, the realistic possibilities. Dusty May is the guy all day. And Daniel, Devin, he came and said, I'm not rebuilding, I'm reloading. I'm putting together a tournament team right now. We're trying to go back to the Final Four. I'm going to put together a great staff. He has delivered, at least on paper, to me. He went out and put together an outstanding staff. Please check out the interview with Mike Boynton. And please be on the lookout. We're going to have Justin in. We're going to have Akeem in. We're going to have all of them in. All of the assistants are going one-on-one. And then we're going to have the 2 off-court or non-recruiting assistants. We're going to have them in. They're all going to sit down in the studio. And then we're going to have Dusty in. We're going to have old Dust Dog in, and he's going to talk about his philosophy. And you know what Mike Boynton said? I want you to comment on this, Daniel. I want to get your take. I'm going to give you opportunity to rain on my parade and pee in my Cheerios. Because I know it's coming. But I'm excited, man. I can see the vision. Mike Boynton said, man, I'm around. I'm a defensive guy by trade. This dude is an offensive wizard talking about Dusty. And he said, man, it fits what we want to do and the talent he's assembling. People are going to talk about this guy averaged 5 points and this guy averaged 6 points. I'm telling you, roster construction is a big deal.
He's managing expectations already.
He said Dusty is in practice and in the building every day talking about we're going to be a Final Four team.
Yeah.
Now you can just say that's setting the bar and setting the expectation, but I like to see it, man. And I think he's putting together the kind of team that will at least compete in this conference. At least. Okay, you got the floor.
Yeah, no, I hope their vision comes true. I hope they are a Final Four team and make a long run in the tournament and contend for a Big Ten championship. And he can say, I have respect for Coach Boynton. I have friends that are in the coaching profession that, have interviewed for jobs to work for him and have gave me a bit insight into who he is as a person. And they've all said great things. But when you say where they average 5 points a game here, 7 points per game here, man, that matters. Your resume matters. Like, you're in the portal for a reason. That doesn't mean that they can't go somewhere and be good players, but I think we have to manage our expectations. If they come out and outplay those expectations, that's great for everybody, right? But for us to sit here and say, hey, this guy, like, if they were leaving for bigger bags, as they say, like Connor left Michigan to go get $1 million+ from Kansas. If Michigan was giving out those type of bags, then I would kind of have a different perspective. I mean, we know Michigan is only playing so far with the NIL thing. So it's not like they're coming to Michigan for money. They're coming to Michigan. They're leaving their current situations for a reason. The previous coaching staffs aren't breaking doors down and to keep these guys in the fold, right? So there's
it'd be different if it wasn't 1,700 guys in the portal. I mean, dudes
but right, but there's a reason why there's 1,700 guys in the portal, Sam. Like and I guarantee you, the guys that coaches really want, they do what it takes to keep. And I'm not saying that these guys aren't good players. What I'm saying is we have to manage our expectations. They've never played together before. They've never played in this system before. So let's manage our expectations and let these guys come in and have a chance to build and grow. Let's not put this pressure on them. Well, they're going to make a Final Four.
Now stand on the table like I did. JJ gonna be a first rounder. Get on the table and tell us what this team gonna be.
Hey, I don't know.
Let them develop. I don't want to hear it.
I don't know. We have to watch. We have to watch and let them develop, let them gel and develop some chemistry. You know what I mean? These guys are coming from lower levels as well. You know, they're coming they're coming from conferences that are not Power 5 conferences. There's going to be a step up in competition, step up in preparation, everything. So it's going to be I don't want to pee in Sam's Cheerios, but
exactly what
I just think manage your expectations a little bit, man. These guys got a lot of work to do.
I'm not saying they're going to be a Final Four team, but I see Reuben Jones, fifth-year guy, 42% 3-point shooter, right? Trey Donaldson, listen, man, he's in a backcourt at Auburn where he's splitting time with a McDonald's All-American, right? And, man, his stats are going to be depressed. You aren't getting all the run that you would get if you weren't split.
Right. So if you're not getting all the minutes, the other guy's getting most of the minutes, then what does that say?
It's saying that you're splitting time.
It says that the other guy is better than you.
Or it says, hey, I got this McDonald's All-American
that's better than you.
that I gotta make sure to get some run, even though I don't want to make this be a thing where I'm hating on Aiden, because I'm not hating on Aiden. But there was a time where he was his shooting percentage, 3-point shooting percentage, was like, I mean, you can't win games like this. Whereas Trey Donaldson's another 40% 3-point shooter. Now, he don't have to come here and be a 15, 16 point a game. I mean, you putting enough talent around him, enough shooters around him. He's a 40% 3-point shooter. Sam Walters, who they brought, is like a 37, 38% 3-point shooter from Alabama, leaving out his freshman year, coming from a scheme that's a lot like
big
this
3-point
shooting philosophy, right?
Big time shooter.
You know, Danny Wolf. Yeah, he was at Yale, but a 36% 3-point shooter as a stretch guy. And then Roddy Gale. Okay, so Roddy Gale got some stats that you like, right?
In the Big Ten, yes.
In the Big Ten.
That's a good pickup.
Roddy Gale.
That's a Big Ten. Hey, Big Ten guy averaged close to 14 points a game in this conference. You know what you're getting from him. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get a player that can come in and he can start at the 2 and be a guy that you can maybe, I don't want to say build your offense around, but he'll be a key contributor offensively as a guy that can average anywhere from 13 to 15, 16 points per game. That's pretty good.
I'm telling you, man, I know I'm biased. I admit my bias, just like I admit my bias with JJ.
I have no bias.
But
I just love Michigan basketball.
Devin wasn't the only one on the table for JJ. He was not. He tried to make it seem like I wasn't on the table. What I said at the time was, I get what Jim and Gaddis and these do. They're like, look, man, our job is on the line. We got to play this stuff safe, right? That doesn't mean that you can't win with JJ or JJ won't be safe, but you don't really know as a freshman. We at least know this dude is not going to turn the football over. He might check down plays that are wide open, but he's not going to turn that rock over, right? And there was safety and security in that. And they wound up winning the Big Ten and going to the playoff with that plan. So it's hard to knock it. But it was no question. I never questioned for a second who was even. The talent ain't even close. The leadership ability ain't even close, even as a freshman, right? JJ was that guy. And if the circumstances were different, if Jim was coming off a winning season where his job wasn't on the line, I think JJ would have been the quarterback after, say, about game 4. So I'm on that table now, like I was for JJ then, saying, Dusty he's checking the boxes, Daniel. Get on the train, get on the table, Daniel.
Hey, First of all, hold on, Sam. First of all, Sam, I'm never off the train. I'm part of the fabric of Michigan basketball. Like that's like saying Devin. That's like asking Devin to get on the train for Michigan football. He is the train. He's part of the train.
I want you to be on the table for Dusty, like Devin was on the table for JJ.
I'll be on the table when we start winning some games.
Or off the table like Devin was for Cade.
Yeah, I'm about to say, hey, not Sam, but seriously, if he can go out and get one of these a big time guy that can come in that's put up numbers, and those guys are few and far between. They want a lot of money, but if you can find one of those guys to add to this group of guys if he can bring an alpha dog in with these guys that he's brought in, then I'll feel a lot better about what they're doing. But I think I like the size that they brought in at the guard position. All those guys are 6'3" or better. I like the size that he's bringing in at the center and the power forward position. Those guys all seem to be 6'10" or taller. So they're going to have a ton of size and some good playmaking in the backcourt. I want to see them bring in a big-time wing that can score and shoot and stretch the floor. So if he can find one of those with some size, I think they'll have a chance to do some good stuff. But they still got more work to do.
One of the things that Mike Boynton said today is he said, it's not always going to be the 5-star guy for us. He said, we're going to recruit those guys. Yeah, he recruited Cade Cunningham. And he said it's easier to recruit Cade Cunningham now than it was then. He said, all you got to do is pay it.
I can't wait to talk to Coach Boynton about that. Coach, you hired his brother. You hired his brother, Coach. Don't do this now. But go ahead.
Into my Cheerios again. Hey, it wasn't just as simple as hiring his brother. He was going to the dude's game since he was a freshman in high school.
I know, and back in Texas, in Arlington, he's another DFW kid.
You think that other schools wouldn't just try to? Man, they would have. Let's not even get it. Let's
not get that's.
Let's not get into it.
Yeah,
they're gonna recruit 5 stars, but he said it's not gonna always look like that for us. We're gonna recruit the 3-star that we turn into that. We're gonna do that too. We're gonna develop players. And we're gonna identify skill sets.
You look nice,
right? And they're gonna make it happen. So I'm bought. I'm on the table. I'm on the table all the way.
I ain't on the table, but I'm in full support of what they're doing. I'm not, like I said, I'm not jumping out there saying they're gonna be a Final Four team.
Not like
they're making good moves though. They're making good moves and they're building a good foundation for the program. So I'm excited where they are, Sam. But I'm not standing on the table for nobody until we win games.
And let me get a nod to your basketball, because listen, Daniel, he when we were in the season, we were watching Doug. He was like, "Hey man, you wrong, Sam. You wrong about this dude. You wrong about him in this game." He's like, "You giving him credit for beating on his chest." And I said, "Man, I want to see him to do more of that. Don't wait till the second quarter to do it." He's like, "Man, nah, he is emotionally not dialed in the way that he needs to be dialed in." And so you were right. I'm conceding it's not even close. Your basketball knowledge is vastly superior. You played the game, you coached the game, you know the game. I'm not even trying to come up close to your credentials. But I think Dusty May is that dude. I think he's that dude. I think Michigan, they went and got them one.
Yeah.
He's doing it when it comes to fundraising. This is a team that he's got to get from the portal. But I think he'll tweak from the portal from this point on and build in recruiting.
Definitely a good foundation. He's building a great foundation. Like I said, these guys have size, they have athletic ability, they all have good skill level. I watched film on the kid from North Texas. I watched film on Donaldson. Like I said, it's just having played in this conference, Sam, and knowing kind of what it takes to like really like put pressure on people and really like do the things you need to do to be successful. They're on the right track. They just need, like I said, they need one more stud. They need one more stud, Sam, and I think they'll be cooking with gas.
See, your Big Ten that you played against is way different. Hell, this Big Ten is way different than the Big Ten last year. Everybody's leaving.
Yeah.
Everybody's leaving. Purdue ain't gonna be the same.
The coach is still the same, though, Sam. A lot of the mainstays, Izzo, Painter.
What is these guys? What has Izzo done?
Listen, it's not about what they've done. They kind of set the tone for how things are going to be, like when I came into the Big Ten, Gene Cady was still a coach. Like these guys set the tone for how the games are going to be played because they're so good at what they do. You can't really take them out of what they want to do. So you're going to have to be good at You have to develop a certain style of play to compete. Like
When
Harbaugh came in and wanted to run the pro style I formation stuff, right? And then you realize coaching against these guys in the Big Ten, I got to change up and be a little bit more. I got to run the spread. I got to be a little bit more flexible. I got to have more concepts involved. So it's the same thing for basketball. You have to really get out there and be sharp at what you're doing.
Daniel, when you came into the Big Ten, Tom Izzo, Michigan State was a power. Michigan State ain't no power. Michigan State ain't doing nothing of substance anymore. You know, even you look at something, man, they getting 5-star dudes that aren't really doing anything on the court.
Style of play, Sam. Style of play, Sam. It's not about if you're getting guys that are. Of course, he doesn't have the guys, the Mo Agers and the Shannon Browns and the guys that I played against when they were making Final Four runs, of course, right? But they still play a certain style of play. It's still a certain standard for basketball at Michigan State as far as how they're going to play, how intense this game is going to be, how physical this game is going to be. That hasn't changed about Michigan State. I just saw a report. They still put on helmets and shoulder pads for a couple practices throughout the year to set the intensity and the physicality for how they're going to play. So that's not going to change in the Big Ten. You know, Matt Painter still has a physical style of play. That's not going to change.
Right. Hey, listen, I'm not denying that you got some really good coaches in the league. I'm just saying it's not as intimidating as it was.
Yeah, I agree.
I know you got to bounce. I know you got a jet.
Yes,
so
sir.
I wanted to get basketball on the menu before you did. And so appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you next week. Ben, as we get ready to talk about I Love Ann Arbor. Before I get to that, I want people keep asking about DJ Waller. We did mention early in the show, this dropped right as we were getting on the air. It was a surprise. I don't know all the details as to why. I do know that there was a battle in spring ball that Jair Hill really ascended. Really is, it wasn't a surefire thing that it was going to be DJ Waller opposite Will. I don't know if that's the reason why. Something I got to look into. I do know that Michigan was looking to add defensive back help in the portal already anyway. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. These are things that we're going to be getting into over on the MichiganInsider.com. So yes, we know. Yes, we addressed it in that way. It was a surprise, and so we got to dig into the reasons why. As for now, though, Ben, would you please drop that track? There are so many great things to do and partake in Washtenaw County. And while there are great things to do year-round in these parts, our friends at Destination Ann Arbor, they give you the guide to things to do year-round, but it really, the opportunities just blossom when the weather breaks and we get into spring and summer. This is the place to be. If you like outdoor things, whether it's trails and hiking or bike trails or golf, all kinds of opportunity. Maybe you're into water sport, rowing. They're cutting the ribbon on the championship rowing course over at Ford Lake. That is now one of the attractions in Washtenaw County. You can find details on all of these things at annarbor.org. That is the site for Destination Ann Arbor, our proud sponsors. But what I want to highlight today is another great thing about Washtenaw County. And I'm new to this. I'm new to this part of Washtenaw County. But breweries. I'm not. Hey, listen. I'm a beer neophyte.
Definitely got some good breweries.
I'm a beer neophyte. I admit it. I admit to being bullied a little bit into broadening my horizons. Oh yeah, Devin. I told the people on my radio show that I like hard cider, and I do like hard cider, and I'm a hard cider fan. I mean, craft cider. I call it craft cider. It's like saying
basically apple juice.
You sound like these cats. Dude told me I drink from a sippy cup because I like hard cider. Told me I need to drink a man's drink. Try some beer. I've had beer. They said, no, you haven't had you need to get into the craft beer scene. So I started getting off into it. And I got into Bell's. And Two Hearted was my introduction. Hop Slam was my home run. It's like, hey man, when I was going at Ohio State that night, when I was going into Buckeyes that night, it was the Hop Slam. It was the Hop Slam was in me, DG.
Sam, that was one of your wildest days of all time. Let the record show.
I was feeling it. I was feeling the Hop Slam. But then what I came to realize is so many great breweries throughout Washington County. Blue Tractor is a good one. Ashley's is a really good one. You got Wolverine beer. Wolverine beer is outstanding as well. You got all of these great options in Washington County. But there is one that I just stumbled upon, and I got to give this brewery a huge shout out because I actually experienced them when we were at the Folding Warehouse. Mothfire Brewery. Shout out to Mothfire because their craft beer and the one that I had that was outstanding. I want to give them a shout out. I want you folks to try it. It was called Phase. All right, I don't know if you can bring that up on the screen there, Ben. But Phrase from Mothfire Brewery is an outstanding. It hit me like Hop Slam. I was like, okay. And it's right here in Ann Arbor. And they have a facility over there that's it's like a beer mecca. And I said, oh man, and then they do the pizza, all kind of. It's like, we gotta go check this out. So what I want to do and what I need your support, you folks here, the Droppin Dimes family, the WTKA family, I want to bring the beer tour back. What do I mean by the beer tour? Because the Lions are going to the Super Bowl this year. We want to go, not every Sunday, but I want to go from brewery to brewery, different Sundays, maybe half the Sundays, maybe, maybe 7 or 8 Sundays come fall. But I need your support. I need you to show that you will participate, that you will partake. If we bring the beer tour back with our friends from Destination Ann Arbor and we bring more exposure to the great breweries that are right here in Washington County, will you have my back? Will you have my back? You know how you can show it? Just right now. If you're in Washington County area, go check out Mothfire's offerings. You can get it in a number of different places. But check out Phrase, and when we come back next week, I want you to give me a testimony. I want you to drop it in the comments. If you had it already, I want you to drop it in the comments now. I want to bring the beer tour back because, hey, I'm getting off into the craft beer thing. And second of all, I just feel like this is going to be a year to remember as far as the Lions are concerned. The Lions going to the Super Bowl. Lions are going to get to the mountaintop, DG. And I want to celebrate it with my people. Oh yeah, listen to this. Tom Dodson said, I like it, Sam. I will have your back. There you go, Tom.
I remember you had that at the Folding Warehouse.
Yeah, it was outstanding. It was outstanding. See, look at that. Look at that facility, man. Folks who are watching us can see the brewery and tap room for Mothfire is open 7 days a week. And that is the one right there, Phrase. I'm telling you, if you like Hop Slam, which I do, I can only get it certain times a year. I was like, oh man, this is it. Phrase is it. I got to go to the Folding Warehouse just for that. So all of the different restaurants that you can explore in Washington County, the golf courses you can explore in Washington County, the outdoor options that you can explore in Washington County, you can find all of those options, links to all of those options at Destination Ann Arbor. AnnArbor.org. I say, if you're coming to town or you stay in town, it's a resource whether you live or you visit. You want to know where are the best breweries around? Go to Destination Ann Arbor. You want to know what the best hotels are. What are your hotels when you're coming to town? Destination Ann Arbor. Restaurants that you want to go to. Destination Ann Arbor is the place to go. All right? So I need you to have my back. I'm serious about this. I know we got beer aficionados in here. I need you to show them some love, show me some love, show our sponsors some love by getting out and partaking in the great offerings around here in Washtenaw County. And then selfishly, so we can bring the beer tour back. And guess what? I'm responsible with it, DG, because I know that if I'm going to go and really get it in, I'm going to call my friends at Golden Limo.
Golden Limo get you right, boy.
I'm
Now, I ain't going to getting it in, but I'm just lazy and don't want to drive.
I'm calling my friends at Golden Limo because you got to think ahead. You know, this is one of the things that when it comes to the season, my wife already told me. She said she's going out of town for my sister-in-law's birthday.
Dang, Two Straps going to have a house to itself?
I'm going to have a house to myself, man. I'm going to have a house to myself.
You might mess around and go back one strap.
She said, how you get into the game? I said, Golden Limo. Golden Limo. You want to get an Uber, you're going to be caught in traffic. You won't know the shortcuts. You won't know your way around. That's the thing with Golden Limo. It's not just about transportation. It's about the expertise with transportation. Whatever magnitude of transportation you're looking for, whether it's individual, like myself, you need executive transport to the airport, or you need the bus, or you need a tour bus. They got you covered. They drive Michigan football around, Michigan basketball around. They can drive around as well. And guess what? You can there's an opportunity. Ben, if you can pull this up from the Golden Limo website, the draft is taking place tomorrow, taking place all through the weekend. Folks, listen. I'm not driving down there. Y'all, where are you going to park? How are you going to get around? Let Golden Limo handle all of your NFL draft transportation. If you go to Golden Limo's Twitter account, Ben, you can put it up on the screen. There's an opportunity to get your Golden Limo weekend transportation ticket. There's a link to it. It allows you to get on down there and get around. If you don't want to miss out and still have the opportunity to get around, then you need to ride on Golden. Experience what is going to be a marquee event in the city of Detroit that will signal the start of the Lions' march to the Super Bowl by riding on Golden. Doesn't get any better, doesn't get any safer, doesn't get any more luxurious. Even my man DG rides on Golden.
Oh, DG rides on Golden. I can tell you that for a fact. I'm actually thinking about getting me a Golden to a comedy show tonight. Yeah.
Look at Steve Horton. He said 3 frays, 2 straps, and 1 limo. That's what I'm going to have to do. That's what I'm going to have to do. So you know what I'm going to ask Golden Limo to do when I go to the game that day? I'm going to say, put me some, because they will stock, especially if it's the party bus, they will stock the fridge for you.
Oh, you were so hyped when you looked in that fridge. You said, oh, they got the Pellegrinos in there. Let me get the Pellegrinos.
Yeah, they had the fridge.
Damn, they raided the bar.
Hey, man, you ride on gold. I bet I felt like DG for a bit. I said, this must be what DG.
Here you go. All right, guys. That's the end of the show. Because Sam, here you go with the garbage again.
This must be what it feels like to be DG. I ain't never gonna be 6'5", so I can at least sit down like DG, right? I can at least.
No, you see people getting their knees done now. You can get up there if you want, Sam. People getting their knees done, and you could do that.
Hey, man. All right, folks. That's gonna do it for the show. We always have a great time. Oh yeah, this is the ticket from Golden Limo. Check them out, goldenlimo.com. Any of your transportation needs, wherever you are in Southeast Michigan, they went to Southfield to pick up DG. You don't have to be in Ann Arbor. They go all over Southeast Michigan.
To the field.
Just telling you. They took us up to Mount Pleasant one time, wherever you got to go. I know that they have driven coaches on recruiting trips to Indiana and Ohio. I know when recruits come to town on unofficial visits, they ride on Golden, many of them. So when I say it is the service that you should frequent, I'm saying it with substance behind it. I swear by him. I guarantee him. I believe in him. Let's go, Limo. All right.
All right.
We
All
gotta
right,
get out.
American gangster. I stand by it. I guarantee it. And they don't got to know Sam rather as much as they know the chairman of General Mills.
We have a lot of fun on this show. I love y'all. Thanks for coming on the show with us to enjoy.
Daniel was tripping about that Jayden Daniels thing.
He
I
was.
have to say it again. He was
was.
tripping.
He was. He was.
Oh, he was tripping. Is he a fan of the opposite team or something? I don't know what he was on. He was tripping. Oh, he was tripping. That boy can play. And I'm not a guy that I didn't like his game. That boy can play. Oh,
so
man.
I gotta let Daniel. I gotta let Daniel stay on next week and talk about how bad your call the Lakers versus Nuggets is, right? You know I gotta let him do it now.
By the time this time next week, the series be over, right?
With the Lakers being out of the playoffs, sure.
We'll see.
Okay.
So
okay.
what's the wager? Because obviously we got people in the chat that be talking crazy. You talking real greasy right now. What if the Lakers win? What?
If the Lakers win the series, I mean, I don't know. What do we put on it? What do I have to give you? You brought me a case of.
I want 150,000, but we can sell out of court right now for $20. $1 and some envelopes.
Well, we can't. Bet. You know what I'm gonna do?
What's up?
I am personally going to arrange because you're a world traveler. If you win, I'm gonna personally arrange for you to have golden limo transport for, I don't know, couple games in the fall, couple travel trips. Oh, because it's already taken care of.
Yeah,
so okay,
no, that ain't
okay. So I will. So a night out in the summer. A night out in the summer.
Man,
Sam, the ladies won't.
I done got my patio together. I'm not going nowhere.
You're not going nowhere. I got
a fireplace. I got my lights and everything.
Wait, hold up. We got ladies coming on the show saying, "Can I get with DG?" I'm not making this up. Did I not get a text saying?
I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny any of the propaganda that you are once again spewing. Sam, we got to figure this out. All right, let me get.
This dude trying to change the subject.
We got to figure this out. Because it's coming. And when the Lakers win, and what you want, some uptime again? You want another uptime?
Yeah. See, because I ain't going to do nothing. I ain't going to wear no Buckeye stuff and no Spartan stuff.
No, but I have you do that. That's insane.
Right. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's
I get you some uptime, and I think about what you need to do. Get me. Maybe you can come take my trash out or something. Maybe I'll be getting a lot of trash. I'll be having a lot of trash. And I'll be having the kids take it out. Or maybe we have Sam take out the trash because his take was trash.
You gonna let me in the penthouse? I can't believe it. I never.
All right, y'all. All right, yep.
I want to see what the helipad looks like.
I love how y'all come and
I want to see how the sun on the roof looks. What it looks like.
All right, bye. All right.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching another edition of Steady Dropping Dimes. We'll see you next time.